The Morgan Report with David Morgan.
David Morgan of themorganreport.com for the week ending 10 February 2023. Well, first up is gold, and it's from Financial Review. Who is buying gold, and is it too late to join the rush? This whole article revolves around the ASX-listed company Newcrest and what they're doing with takeover here with Newmont. Investors were stirred by the news of the takeover approach by Colorado-based Newmont, and Newcrest shares soared 9.3% on Monday. We did an update written for the premium service on our take on this, but these are two massive companies, and if this goes through, it will be a really behemoth gold company. This is quite a lengthy article, and I would suggest over the weekend you find it and read it. Skipped a lot of it, but this part was intriguing to me. What is the benefit of gold as an investment compared to other assets? And the bottom line, according to this article, gold shows returns that are only likely to be modest over the long term, because gold is preserving your wealth. I agree with that. But importantly, you're unlikely to lose money buying gold versus riskier investments such as equities or cryptocurrencies. Of course, that is based on a longer term or an investment philosophy rather than a speculative philosophy. Some advocates of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, claim it's a superior alternative to gold as a digital store of value. Bitcoin supporters argue it's easier to transfer. While heavily outpacing gold's returns since 2009, gold supporters rubbish Bitcoin as a limited supply of nothing or a Ponzi scheme with no inherent value. Wherever you stand on the debate, it's widely agreed Bitcoin is stealing investment flows from gold, especially among younger generations schooled in a digital economy who see gold as an old-fashioned investment. And if you haven't looked at the Silver PSYOP lecture, or I should say interview I did with John Perez on themorganreport.com under the blog, just go to the blog and type in cryptocurrencies, and it'll pop up the Silver PSYOP. I also lectured on it 2 years ago, or more than a year ago, at the Silver Symposium here in Spokane on how much potentially did Bitcoin take away from the gold market? How much did it potentially take away from the silver market? It's out there on the web somewhere as well. Moving right to silver from Kitco with Niels Christensen, that writes quite often. Pretty solid guy, writer. Silver prices to pace to average 2023 around $23 per the Silver Institute. I won't read you the whole thing. The headline's really enough. Of course, that's where we're at now. I see it differently. Of course, silver does move up and down like all markets. I think silver is going to do better than 23 for an average price this year, but I don't have a crystal ball. Time will tell. He says here in the articles, demand remains strong. Silver Institute noted that the market is still projected to see a significant supply-demand imbalance with another deficit on the horizon, even as production increases. Silver production is expected to hit a record 1.05 billion ounces this year, a 4% increase over 2022. And moving to the Silver Institute, basically saying the same thing. Silver may face economic headwinds in 2023. Talks about demand, talks about supply, talks about price and investment. And of course, they have a disclaimer. I've been pretty vocal about the platinum market. This is again from Kitco. Impala Platinum's refined precious group metals production is down 9% in the second half of 2022. And that's not surprising. In fact, I did an update, I think it was in the public domain, it might have been in our premium service, but regardless, it was about how many problems South Africa is facing in a lot of areas, and particularly in the mining industry. And I bring that up because 70% of the world's platinum comes from South Africa. Going the extra mile, this is from LinkedIn, Dr. David Davis, independent mining consultant, talking about platinum. The ongoing load shedding has impacted South Africa's platinum mine production negatively and will continue to do so. Second paragraph, the unit cost of production will also likely increase exponentially, resulting in a squeeze on margins. I also expect a structural change in operations of the South African platinum mining industry to maintain equilibrium with power supply. There's power supply problems in South Africa, and of course that affects mining. This will likely result in a decline in platinum mine supply and, as a result, put further pressure on the continuous decline in the platinum market's balance deficit, thereby forcing platinum to new price highs. As South Africa's energy crisis accelerates, the impact on economic, social, political, and climate change fallouts will likely rise exponentially. So there you have it. That's an independent. You can find him on LinkedIn. And thank you for that, Dr. Davis. And a side note, this is a local article here on catalytic converter thieves have decimated San Francisco city vehicles, talking about the value of what's the platinum group metals that are in catalytic converters. And thieves come and remove the catalytic converters, and they get paid scrap price for them on the open market. It's kind of sad, but it's a high value product and not that difficult to take a catalytic converter off a vehicle. Thought I'd end with this one from MSN Earth Talk. What can be done about the impending mountains of solar waste? This is a very straight up article. It doesn't say a lot, but it says a lot. It's talking about when purchasing green alternatives for home power generation, the average consumer looks for many features. Most are hoping to find options that are most efficient or the lightest or the most durable. But what about the most recyclable? The question is often overlooked when making such purchases. Unfortunately, ignoring a product's life cycle can have disastrous consequences, especially if reducing your environmental footprint is a concern. Solar panels last 20, 25 years, and they're very toxic to make, and they're very toxic to recycle. And of course, some of it probably will be for the silver, but they are really a problem, just like the big windmills, as far as what the waste product is and the footprint it'll take. There's a lot about the renewable energy, and I've been criticized in the past for Planet of the Humans, which is a documentary talking about kind of the both sides of the green story, Planet of the Humans. There are some errors in there. There's a debunker. The debunker goes into the numbers being wrong. He is correct, but just because the numbers are wrong doesn't mean that the overall take on the movie is inaccurate, because it talks about energy in and energy recovered, or how much energy does it take to get energy out. EROI, energy return on energy invested. And that's something that very few people really seem to pay attention to. And it's really the only way to analyze what the energy market is going to do in the future, because it's not a matter of how much money you can print, because that can go to infinity. It's a matter of how much energy does it take to make a solar panel, where's the break-even cost, what's its useful life, and what are the consequences to the environment on the holistic basis. So that's it. I'm going to leave it there. This is David Morgan, themorganreport.com, signing out. I'll be back with you next week.